Hey guys, Rick back. I wanted to show you something. I kind of jerry-rigged something up and it seems to be working for me, and I wanted to share with you. I'm not sure if I told you before, but a couple years ago I had purchased a roll of cork that I was going to use all throughout the layout. I bought it in a 4-foot by 50-foot length roll. I mean, it stood as tall as my daughter, and it was, you know, I could wrap my arms around it and bear hug it. It was so large. I've cut it all down now, so I can't show you it, but imagine, you know, a pretty large 4-foot roll of cork. I got it in 6mm thickness, which is closer to 1/4 of an inch, where I believe the stuff that you get from well, I can't think of the name of it now. The guys who make black stuff. I think they use 3/8 inch, which actually comes down to, I think, somewhere around 5mm. But I figured since I'm using it all around, it's not really to scale, but it's very, very close. And nobody would know the difference unless you watch this video. So let me just show you. Here, I've got it all on my layout. This is what it looks like. I mean, you really can't tell the difference. It's not that big of a deal. But what I did want to share with you is I got it on Amazon. So it's cork. That's the price that I paid for it. It was $139. I had to go back and look at my order because I just looked it up online because I wanted to show you what the real price is now. And I think it's at $157 for the huge roll. But what I was able to do is cover the entire bottom of my, the bottom deck of my layout, which has my yard. So I covered all of that and still had half a roll left. And I knew the rest of it I was just going to be using for road bed, so it was going to get cut up. So I wanted to show you what I did. I basically rolled this out in my kitchen. Got a sheetrock square, and I started cutting these things down in 4-foot lengths by, I can't remember the exact measurement, but I want to say maybe 2.5, 2.25 inches wide, so that it looks very similar to what you would buy. So straight edges on the side. Oh, kind of zoomed you out there. Hang on. Straight edges on the side. I think it's 2.5 or a 2/4 inch. And then all I have to do is cut that bevel down, and then I would have basically, you know, the same thing that you normally see when you buy this stuff at a store. So they have probably a nice little machine that cuts that bevel down in the middle, and then when you're done with it, you split it apart and you put it together, and bada bing, bada boom, road bed. So here's what I did. I went out on Amazon and I found a wood cutting saw for my Dremel, and I made this little jig with a 45-degree angle. Kind of put some wood bracing in there, glued together to give me just the correct length. And I took my strips here and I actually painted them gray. The other ones I didn't do gray, obviously, but I started doing this because I figured if I missed any ballast, the ballast, this would show up nice and gray. And when I run these through, I get that little bevel going down. And just like the other stuff, I left a little bit on there so that you still have to bend this and break it apart. And this is what you get. Now, of course, it's not perfect because I don't have a manufacturing assembly here, but if I can get this to the right side. Okay, so that's the one side. It's a little off. That's the other side, so there's my 2 straights. There's my 2 straights. There's my road bed. Not exactly perfect, but I can always sand that straight by hand. You always have to sand the other stuff anyway because there's always that ridge on the end of it. But if you add up the amount of roadbed and cork that you would be putting on your layout, I know on mine, for all the cork that I put down the bottom and for all the track that I still have to lay over there and through the back and over the side, when I purchased it for $139, I don't mind sitting here cutting this apart and sanding it down. When I look at the cost of what I would have spent for the pre-manufactured stuff. So I just wanted to share that with you. Something that I came up with off the top of my head, put it together, a couple screws, even found a way to get the shop vac in there. So I got a little dust collection going on. This stuff does kick up some really fine dust. And of course, with any project that you're working on, woodworking or not, safety first, ear protection, eyeglasses. This stuff does make a really fine dust and you don't want to inhale that. And you are working with a power tool, even though it is just, I'm using a Dremel. You don't want to have any of that kick up into your face and into your eyes. I would not suggest, I tried it, do not suggest putting this stuff through a table saw. It just rips it to shreds. So don't try that. Been there, done that, didn't work out. I guess if you were to maybe, I don't know, brace it underneath of a 2x4 or something and run that through, maybe that would work, but big power tools, small items, didn't ever work for me. So I abandoned that and went to the Dremel. Seems to be working fine. So just wanted to share. Happy New Year, guys. I hope everything is going well. I'll catch you on my next video. See ya.